All right, this is Dan Meehan for Asian Persuasion MMA, and today we have former UFC title challenger, former Bellator Welterweight champion, and one of the marquee signings of the 2021 PFL season, Rory MacDonald. Rory, how are you?
Doing good, thanks.
That's good. Now, as I mentioned, you're one of the big signings of this season of the PFL. I'm sure you had no shortage of interest when you entered free agency. Can you tell us a little bit about your decision to join PFL?
Yeah, they were the best offer that I had. You know, and I also really enjoyed their format. I felt like the fact that I could fight 5 times a year potentially was really intriguing to me, and then also the financial position was the biggest seller. So very happy to be teamed up with PFL and looking forward to our journey together.
Fantastic. And with the 2020 season being cancelled due to COVID, what did you get up to? Did you keep training or did you take a bit of a break?
No, I was pretty much training the whole time off. It was a positive time for me to work on different skills in the gym, but also just kind of some internal things to take care of outside of fighting. So it was a good productive year to not have to fight and worry about training camps and things like that. So I was happy with the time off. I think I used it very well, and I'll be able to show that in my next performance.
Fantastic. Um, I hear you've recently relocated your family to Florida and moved to Sanford MMA. How's life been down there? And can you talk about what prompted the move?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Guys there are great. Coaches are great. A plethora of training partners. Obviously, the weather is amazing here compared to Canada, and just the freedom of like not having to worry about lockdowns and stuff. The reason why we moved down here was because of that. The lockdowns in Canada, well, in my province, especially in Quebec, were getting a little bit out of hand, and it was just impossible to be able to train for a fight up there to be at my best. So we moved on like 7 days' notice. We made a decision and we got everything in order and we got down here.
Fantastic. Can we expect to see any stylistic changes once you finally get back in the cage on April 29?
Well, I think you can expect a hungry fighter looking to finish the fight.
Fantastic. Now, as you mentioned in the PFL tournament, you could conceivably see yourself fighting 5 times between now and the end of the year. Does that change the way you approach training, knowing that an injury could disqualify you from the tournament?
Well, it's definitely been on my mind since signing with PFL, adapting to that kind of volume of fights and weight cuts and things like that. So I think it's just consistency. Try not to have peaks and valleys in the training, and you know work with the guys you trust in the gym. And, yeah.
Fantastic. Now you're in a room full of killers down at Sanford MMA now. Does that mean you sort of take it easy on the sparring a little bit, or is it just business as usual?
Yeah, I'm definitely, if I'm not feeling healthy or something, I need a day off. I'll definitely. I'm I try not to over spar nowadays. I feel like I have the experience and the amount of rounds in that I don't need to push myself to spar 2-3 times a week like I used to when I was younger. But
Fantastic.
sparring is definitely a key component of training that I'm enjoying down here because there's just so many good guys.
For sure. So now the 2021 PFL roster has been announced. How do you feel you stack up against the competition?
I think it's a great roster. I think they did a great job getting some amazing talent there. Very impressed with everybody's name that's on the list. And I got my work cut out for me, but I'm confident that I'll be able to beat all these guys.
Is there anyone that stands out as your biggest threat, or someone that you'd like to fight along the way?
Not really. I just want to win all my fights in dominant fashion.
Fantastic. Now, you've had to wait a long time since signing with the PFL way back in 2019 to have an actual name to focus on. You've drawn in your first fight on April 29, a pretty tough assignment against the 2019 welterweight finalist in David Michaud. How much do you know about him?
Not a whole lot. I've watched his PFL fights, and he's actually fought a teammate of mine, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, when they were in UFC. So I know a little bit about him, and he seems like a really tough guy who brings the fight, you know. So I'll be ready for that.
Are you the type to watch tape, or do you normally leave that to your coaches?
A little bit, but I don't overdo it. I get an idea, but I mostly try to focus on myself.
Yeah, fantastic. How do you think you'll go spending 17 days in the bubble before fight night? Do you think that'll affect your mindset or your preparation at all?
Well, yeah, that's one big thing that, I think that's weighing on everybody that's going into this. It's not something I'm looking forward to, but I'm gonna have to be mentally strong and stay busy and get through it.
For sure. Now you've spoken pretty openly in the past about sort of contemplating retirement or losing the love of the sport in recent years. Um, how motivated are you right now? How do you feel about fighting these days?
Yeah, I'm feeling really happy about fighting nowadays. Like I said, taking that time off of 2020 just gave me some time to let my thoughts settle in. When I started having those thoughts of if I wanted to do this anymore, I was in a very rushed state. I had another fight like a month or two later, and then after that, because it was in a tournament with Bellator, and I had some obligations to do, and it was just a confusing time. Having those thoughts in the back of your mind, plus having to prepare for fights and dealing with that. So having nothing to think about or worry about, just it really helped it digest, and having that realization of, my the why God put me on this earth, and this is my destiny. I was blessed with this skill set and this desire to win and to compete in MMA. And that fire kind of rose back up in me over my off time, being able to push myself in training and keep developing. And you know it was a good time. I feel very hungry now, refocused, driven to accomplish my goals. So I think I'll show that in my fights.
That's good to hear. Now, how would you like the remainder of your career to play out? Do you see yourself, chasing the seven-figure checks in PFL long term, or do you have any aspirations to maybe go back to the UFC and test yourself there again?
Yeah, obviously I want to get compensated for my work, that I feel that I like get my value that I'm worth. Um, but we'll see how it all plays out. I'm happy with the deal I have at PFL. If they keep bringing in top level talent like they have been, they're just getting started. So I want to be the best welterweight in the world, and I want to show that. So we'll see how time plays out and how things happen. But I want to get paid, and I want to be the best in the world.
Absolutely. Do you follow the current UFC and Bellator product, and what do you think of the current state of the welterweight divisions over there?
There's a lot of great welterweights that are in the hunt in every promotion right now. So it's a pretty exciting time for myself just to see all the guys, the young guys coming up. So I think my experience and the fact that I'm still 31 years old, and what I've been through, and I think I'll see myself to the top in the near future.
Fantastic. Did you watch Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling on the weekend?
I've seen the clip of the knee, but that's it.
Yeah. So a lot of people were doubting that Sterling was really hurt from the knee. Do you able to maybe shed some light on what he might have been going through?
I thought he got hit with the clean. I thought he got hit with the knee myself. From what I saw, I don't think he was acting. I don't know. I think it was a fair decision for the disqualification.
Yeah, it seemed fair. I was, yeah, a lot of people who haven't been in the cage seem to be jumping on him to criticise, but yeah, there you have it from a man who's been there and taken his fair share of shots.
Yeah, nobody wants to win a championship that way. I'm sure that's lingering in the back of his head. But by the sounds of it, they're going to do a rematch, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I believe you're one of the early adopters of Bitcoin. Did you sort of do any investing over the break? And if so, how's it looking?
No, I didn't do anything. Just been kind of focused on the athletic side of my life and getting back into fighting form. That's just been my main focus over the past year. I got out of Bitcoin a while back, a couple years ago, and I kind of just stopped thinking about it. Just focused on other things like my faith and fighting and family. But it's been doing really well. It's been pretty cool to see how far it's taken off. I think when I first got into it, it was worth a couple $100. So it's pretty crazy.
Wow, there you go. All right. And before I let you go, do you have any sponsors or anyone that you'd like to shout out? I'll let you take us out.
No, not really. Appreciate the interview.
No worries at all. Thanks so much for stopping by, and yeah, all the best with the PFL season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rory.